The 5 W's of investing in real estate. The golden rules of profiting from property. Land is the only asset that is limited in supply, but has continuously growing demand. The earlier you invest, the higher your returns. This simple principle underscores the entire real estate business. Having said that, investing in real estate is a complex process with several aspects that can trip you, the unvarying or poorly informed investor. From my experience, I have found that there are 5 questions that play a vital role in making or breaking real estate investment. I call them the 5 W's. Those are where, number 1, number 2, why, number 3, what, number 4, when, and number 5, whom. If you have the answers to these clearly and based your investment decision on them, you are sure to emerge a winner. Now, having said that, let me tell you one by one. The first and most important question is where. In other words, the location of the property. This is arguably the single most important factor to consider when investing in real estate, and it needs to be assessed in both the narrow view and the larger picture. Now, the narrow view will take into account the property's immediate surrounds. How good is its access? Are amenities close at hand? Availability of water, power, and infrastructure, etc. The broader picture covers the neighborhood's potential of appreciation. What is the current demand and potential for growth? What are the factors that driving growth there? All these aspects need to be carefully considered before making your investment decision. Now let me tell you about second point. Next comes the why of your investment. In other words, what is your objective? Do you want to earn a regular income by giving properties on rent? Or do you want to earn returns by reselling? Or do you want to build a portfolio of assets that give you financial security in long term? Or do you want to enjoy quality of life? This is most important. Or do you just want the roof over your head that belongs to you? Generally speaking, plots or vacant sites are excellent as long-term investments, and built properties are a great way of earning rental income and annuities. On the whole, both works well as assets that appreciate in the long term and as the legacies you can pass on to the next generation. Based on where and why, now decide what you are going to invest in, which means should you buy a vacant land or a plot in a developed layout, a residential apartment, a commercial space. As I explained earlier, it depends on the outcome that you desire and the funding available with you. Generally speaking, commercial spaces yield higher rents, but may also be more expensive. On other hands, vacant lands and plots may be more affordable and show better appreciation in the long term. Another excellent option is to invest in the Real Estate Investment Trust, or REIT. For example, Embassy REIT. An REIT is nothing but an organization that owns and operates real estate to generate income. REITs are usually large entities holding high-value real estate. Therefore, investing in them is generally a big ticket of fires that is the domain of institutional investors. However, retail and individual investors can participate in them as well, either through the stock market if they are listed companies or through mutual funds. In either cases, they also are great long-term investment options. Investing in REITs also has a secondary benefit of keeping the real estate industry itself beyond unhealthy. The more the investor interest in a business or industry sector, the greater and faster its growth. The question of when is essentially answered by the referring back of the first principle. The earlier, the better. Let me explain with few examples to show how this plays out in real-life context. If you are looking at developed space where it is a plotted development or a villa community or an apartment complex, look for pre-launch offers, which most developers have. Once the developmental work starts, the price tends to increase. If you get to know each about the project after the launch, not to worry, you can still have a great deal on the price if you are early enough. Alternatively, check if there are planning an extension or a second phase of the future and put yourself down for that. The last W can arguably be rewarded as the most important one, whom you are buying from. It was extremely difficult to verify the genuineness of a property ownership and/or the absence of any encumbrance on it. meaning that it had not been mortgaged or given as a security. As a result, many investors have burned their fingers and lost their money because they did not do sufficient due diligence before investing. These days, property records are mostly digitalized and easier to access. Therefore, it is much simpler to verify the authenticity of a seller claims. However, as a matter of abundant caution and financial prudence, one must always get all the property documents thoroughly vetted by a competent legal firm before entering into any transaction. This again is not an easy task for an individual to accomplish. So I would strongly recommend that you look for a well-reputed organization with time-tested credentials. This way you can be sure that your investment is safe and you will give the returns you desired. Ultimately, real estate is an excellent investment option that can both generate substantial regular income as well as be a high appreciation long-term asset. Enter as early, invest carefully and benefit exponentially. That's the simple. Thank you very much. And last but not least, the demand for the property is constantly increasing and the supply is decreasing. Thereby, property prices are always appreciating and there is no capital depreciation. Apart from the real estate, there are various assets category where investments can be done. The popular options are stocks and shares. Number 2, mutual funds, gold. And last but not least, property, real estate. Either it could be a plot, whether it could be a villa, whether it could be an apartment, flat, or whether it could be a ground plus 3. So, decision is yours.